Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com, or go to our website at head2headpinball.com. Welcome everybody to the Head2Head Pinball podcast. This is episode 54 and my name's Martin, and with me
Ryan C with 3 hours of energy every Monday morning, mother cluckers. That's our new tagline. 3 hours of energy every Monday morning.
Correct. That's right. People have complained like early days, and probably even still now, that, it goes so long. And, someone said to me recently, I have to go at, 1.5 time. Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. If you get through it, you get through it. 3 hours is a big commitment each week. And we know, because it's what we do.
I think it really does take people more than 2 days, because with that Pinburg competition that we did for the Pin Stadium Lights, we only got like one entry in the first 24 hours. And I was like, holy shit, no one's entering. And then kind of a couple of days later, they all came flooding in. So yep. If it takes you a couple of days to get through, that's cool. It's a long week in between episodes.
I think in future, we will announce that we're doing the competition at the beginning of the episode, so you can...
So you can skip through
all our fucking rubbish until that point, and then put in your entry.
Big week in pinball, lots of news to get through. Martin has been gallivanting around the US at Pinburg. We will talk about that later in this week in pinball. But let's get to the news, Marty. There's been a lot of speculation regarding the announcement of Chicago Gaming's Pinball number 3. It's fine.
Yeah, I love it. You still call it Pinball, but Pinball number 3, because that's effectively been its title. Pinball number 3, in brackets, Monster Bash.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, it'd been so long that people were like, it has to be Cactus Canyon. There's no way they'd take this long if it was anything else, and this and that. Anyway, they posted an update saying, hey guys, it's coming soon. We just got the approval, the UL approval, or whatever it is. And as soon as they said that, someone went on the government website that has all of the listings there and and found out that they have approval for Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, and Monster Bash in a standard edition, collector's edition, and whatever the other edition is. Was it CE, LE, and SE? Sorry, Special Edition, Classic Edition, and Limited Edition. Sorry, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yep. So I think it's going to follow the same model, obviously, as Attack from Mars, with all the extra features. Because these people found it out, they kind of went on Facebook and announced Monster Bash with no photos, no information other than, hey guys, you figured it out. It'll be coming soon.
It was like, hey guys, sorry, yeah, it is definitely the worst kept secret ever. So
the thing is, like, before they announce it, because this is kind of an announcement, they can take as long as they want, and the clock really isn't ticking. People were going nuts, like, oh my gosh, I really need a Monster Bash, like, right now. But because they haven't announced it, there's no pressure or anything. But now it's when people kind of get a bit more antsy and are kind of clamming around to say, I want an LE, and who do I buy it off? And
it is funny like that, because without really, and you know what, Iron Maiden was kind of the same in that without an official announcement, time really isn't all that ticking. It's kind of like, oh, I know it's coming, but I have no concept of time frame. But as soon as Iron Maiden was released, it's like, right, fuck, I've got to get it now. Now that Monster Bash has officially been announced, that everyone's now really excited, because they know 100% it's real. The credit cards are out, ready to go.
Yeah, I guess when people visually see it as well, that will be another another milestone that gets people even more excited, because obviously there will be some extra feature and it'll look different.
Well, that's what they said, right? Yeah, they said, obviously that we're making it, but the secret about what additional stuff we're doing with it hasn't been released. So
yes, but they are hyping it up.
No, just tell us. We won't tell anyone, because you know us, we don't report on news like that.
They are pumping it up. I mean, they're really, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a company kind of pump up something this much before it was released. I'm sure I can be proven wrong. It's not coming to me. Someone saying, "Hey,
but how are they pumping it up?"
in their Facebook post, they said, like, we're so like everyone here is super excited. I'm paraphrasing here, but, like, this feature's gonna blow you away. It's better than all of John Poppadou's games that he ever produced. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing.
Actually, really adding stuff to it. But.
All right, moving on to we're 1 week late on this news. This kind of came out right after we did the last podcast, but this week in Pinball kind of reported that the Gojira license went to Stern and not Spooky, and there was some kind of bidding war. I think Jeff kind of reached out to both parties, and they didn't kind of comment. And I'm guessing in a couple of days we'll hear a story from Charlie on his podcast. They do a podcast on like the first of every single month. He did release a statement. Did you see that, Marty, on Pinsides?
2 reasons.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
2 reasons why no. I don't really go to Pinside all that much, and B, I've been playing pinball.
Okay. Yeah, this is how weird is it, Marty? As I said, I experienced this twice. When you actually are doing you're doing pinball, like the pinball stuff, you don't care at all about like everything else that's going on. Like,
well, no, it's exactly right, and I guess that's probably and obviously we are going to get to Pinburg, but Pinburg is a fuck off tournament, right? It is just a tournament, so. Like my throat is sore, my voice is a bit hoarse from the amount of talking that I've done, but there's not really all that much talk about speculate and what's happening in the news. It's actually all about tournaments. So that's really what I've been focused on, is how do I play this machine and how do I blow this one up, and
which is what pinball is, right? Like,
that's right. That's exactly right. When you're in the thick of it, it's about the moment.
Yep. And this podcast kind of exists, and you, the listener, are listening right now because you're probably not playing pinball. Like, I doubt people put headphones on and listen to the podcast while they're playing pinball. No?
Someone did. Someone told me, I can't remember what it was, but there was a comp that we were at, and they went, look, I'm just going to put my headphones on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to your podcast as I'm playing pinball. It fucking happened. I'm telling you now.
Horrible. Great way to train.
I'm not sure it helped.
Okay. Back on track. Okay, this is what he said. So everyone was kind of arguing back and forth whether or not Stern did the right thing by taking Godzilla license and not kind of, I guess, letting Spooky have it. And Charlie responded and said, that was TriStar, not Toho, the same as the current films, Warner Brothers / Legendary, not Toho. Toho is much smaller. Shin Godzilla only played independent and small theaters last year, everywhere but Japan, while King of the Monsters will play every theater on the planet next year when Warner Brothers releases it. While it's not impossible to want that title more than we did, they are the big fish and will get whatever they are after in most cases. We were flapping our gums about Godzilla long before we were a company, so kind of hard to hide our love for that title now. If that's just business, then I guess we have learned a lesson. I have literally pushed titles that came here back to Stern because it was the right thing to do, but hey, that's just business at Spooky. Such is life, and Spooky is fine. Disappointments are going to happen. We move on. So, this is the debate, and this is what I want to talk about, Marty. Is what Stern has done, does that shed them in bad light because everyone knows how much Charlie's obsessed with Godzilla and how much passion he has for that IP, or is the term it's just business, like it's not personal? Is that what you feel about this?
Okay, so here's what I think. Charlie loves Godzilla, absolutely. But that doesn't make him the only person that loves Godzilla. And that doesn't mean that there are, people at Stern that also love Godzilla, or people, a design team that's going, holy crap, the things we could do with a Godzilla license. It will be absolutely amazing. So if Because what I'd originally heard was that they'd taken the license but weren't necessarily releasing a machine. If that happens, that's not great. But if they're releasing a machine, I don't even necessarily think it is that's just business. I think maybe that there are two people that see that there's potential in this license. And yes, Charlie has got a personal connection with that theme. So I don't know. I don't think this is a case of ones and zeros. Just because one person loves it and is passionate about it, nobody else can touch it. I don't agree with that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can build any more on with what you've said. But yeah, I mean, as you said, if you put your business hat on, then sure, crush your opposition, and
I don't even think it's that.
No.
I don't even think that, though.
Well, I'm saying if you think of it from a business perspective, a business's goal is to earn money, and Stern's not a public company, so they don't need to please stockholders or anything, but they still need to make money for everyone involved and keep everyone employed.
But I don't think they're doing this saying, yeah, let's get it, we're going to crush Spooky. Like, I don't think it's that kind of thing. I think they're going, yeah, that's a shit hot license, let's do something great with it. Yes, it means that somebody like Charlie gets disappointed, but I don't think they're taking that license just to get at him or to make his business not be successful. I don't think that's the case. I mean, obviously we
don't know. Yeah,
but I just think that it's probably a good license. I'm also just going to put this out here. You ready? Here, I'm going to put this out there. I don't think that's a good license for Spooky.
I don't think it's a good license for anyone. I just don't get. I don't get the in the current day and age. I don't think that many people care about Godzilla. But hey, that's just me. And I know I'm not a massive theme whore anyway. So a good pinball machine is a good pinball machine regardless. I don't know. Isn't there already a Godzilla pinball machine?
There is. I think it was a Sega Godzilla. It's not bad. It's not bad. No, it's not that it's not bad, but it came out at an era where the rules were really uninspired. I'm just going to...
Every single Sega game? Every single Data East game?
It's funny that because I don't know whether we were talking about it, but someone was talking about the machine Lost in Space, right? And how bad a game it is. And so I saw it at Pinburg, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to play this because I haven't played it since it came out. Surely it's not as bad as everybody says it is. Yeah. It's every bit as bad as everyone says it is. And it's not just that it's... The layout's fine. It's okay. It's got ramps, it's got orbits, it's got a pinball. It's there. But...
It's got a pinball.
It's got a ball, right? It's got some flippers as well, and it's got the spinny disky thing. It's just nothing about it makes you feel like you're enjoying a game.
Okay.
Yep. And see, a lot of Segas were like that. Another one like Twister was very similar to that in that, you get into multi-ball and you shoot jackpots and that's it. You just hit a jackpot. Okay, well, I got a jackpot, hit another jackpot. I don't feel good about hitting jackpots. It's those kind of games where if you get extra ball, you feel ripped off that you have to play it a bit longer.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say about the whole Godzilla thing, it reminds me of Survivor, right? And I'm not sure how many Survivor fans there are out there. Marty,
Survivor Africa was the I think it was the third series.
Third season, yeah.
And I was hooked. Absolutely freaking loved it. And when the next season came out, I said, I just don't think I can dedicate my life to this show. It is such a commitment to follow everything.
Yep. Well, it's pretty much the only TV show that me and my wife watch together, and one of the only TV shows that I watch. So I'm still watching. I just find it intriguing how people can manipulate others to kind of step their way through the ladder and then get them to vote for them to win $1 million. The relation to this, I guess, is there's always someone in every Survivor competition that there's this argument at the end that they say, I'm just trying to win $1 million. I'm sorry I lied to you. I'm sorry I did this to you. And then the other person will say, well, this is real life. This is bigger than the game. And the person says, well, no, it's not, because it is a game. Yeah. So, and this is kind of the relationship, here where everyone's saying that this is bigger than Stern just kind of making more money because Charlie's a good guy and we really want Charlie to be happy and get the Godzilla thing. And then the other argument is no, it's not. It's business. And
well, I'm not saying, like, I just don't think that there's those two arguments. I think there's this argument in the middle, which is not necessarily about business. It's someone actually says, yeah, it's a really good license. I could get totally on board with this and feel really passionate about this license as well. Charlie is not the only person that likes Godzilla. That's what I'm saying.
I know, I get what you mean, but do you think at Stern, the designers are the ones calling the shots saying, let's go after this license because I like this as a kid and I can make a really good pinball machine? Or do you think it's Gary Stern and Jody Dampberg saying, this is the market research, this is going to make us money, let's go after this?
Well, I actually have the answer to that. Do you want to know it?
Yeah.
Because I was actually at a seminar at Pinburg with Keith Owen.
Okay.
And somebody actually asked him that question. And, obviously he's new to Stern, so it may be different, for all the different people. But someone asked him, do you get to pick the license? And he said, well, no, that's Jody's job. Jody gets the license and then says, do you want to do this license?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's right. So it is business versus personal thing. That whole Survivor thing is what's happening, right? One person sees it as personal, and this is my life, and this is my passion, and the other person is treating it like a business. I need to win $1 million to win Survivor. I need to make certain money.
No, but as I'm saying, I just don't think this is binary. I don't think it's one or the other. There's shades of grey in between where someone, and it could be Jody Dankberg that goes, do you know what? Fuck, Godzilla would just make a shit-hot machine and it would make us lots of money and we would stick it to Charlie. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's one or another. It's, sure. I think there's a grade in the middle. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Moving on, there was an interview this week with Robert Mueller, the guy who's running Deeproot on Pinball Podcast. I don't know why we keep on getting that beeped out, but whoop, there we go again.
Yep, he must be not named. Yep.
Well, I just want to find out here why we can't name him. So let's ask Google. Know it all, Google. Google, how come we keep on getting beeped out here when we mention?
Hello, Ryan. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, Google. Haven't talked to you for a while. So, what's the deal?
I must be beeped at one time for every time he is being an asshole on his podcast.
Okay, so we've beeped him a couple of times already. What's the tally up to now?
He has been an asshole 3,975 times, so I only have to be pinned 3,970 times more.
Alright, that's cool. Anything else you want to tell us, Google?
I'm really rich.
Yeah. That's cool. We know Google's rich. But why are you telling me this for?
I bought the Big Trouble in Little China pinball license, so I never have to hear the thing again. I'm just going to sit on the license so that nobody else makes the machine.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you very much, Google.
See you later.
Moving on. So, yeah, it was a good interview. A lot of information in there. Not really juicy information. It was very kind of vague and speaking about
But there's obviously one major thing that came out of it, and something is dead.
Quad assembly, guys. We kind of joked about it and we're speculating about it. That's gone. We'll never know what quad assembly is because it's
old news.
Old news. Octo assembly is there, and this is the thing. I don't know if he's taking the piss. Right, he's just joking. Or if it's a real thing. And that's, you know what? I think that actually kind of discredits his business a little bit because you can tell that he's an incredibly intelligent person, okay? This guy, Robert. Sure. And he's probably really good at running a business. Maybe. I don't know. But I feel like half the stuff he's saying is just so that me and you sound like idiots talking about something that doesn't exist, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, me and you joke around so much, Marty, that I'm sure people are like, are they for real this time? Like, when we said that Slam Tilt is suing us, like, so many people believe that, and I was like, no, guys, it's a joke. But we're not trying to sell anything. When you kind of, like, joke about stuff and people no longer know when you're telling the truth or not, and you're trying to sell something, I'm not sure if that works in your favor, but I am looking forward to seeing what comes out of there. We say it all the time. They haven't really shown anything yet, but geez, they said they've got so many people on board. Steve Bowden.
I'll tell you what, I am so looking forward to being so sore after 5 days
of difference. Mate, they're changing Magic Girl. they think that Magic Girl is too 2D and needs to be more 3D. They changed, like, they're one of the most iconic images that, like, the only reason why people bought that pinball machine because of that image that Zombie Eddie drew. Apparently they're changing it up. I'm not sure if they're changing the...
What?
Yeah?
What do you... No. Wait, what? What? No.
I've got to listen again because I was just kind of like I was just listening in the background while I was fixing pinball machines. But I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if he's talking about the video assets, that the video like the monitor on the pinball machine.
Oh, the video assets.
Well, I'm not
there.
Yeah, or I'm not sure if he's talking about the actual artwork on the playfield or the translate.
I hope it's not the artwork, because if there's anything that does not need to change on that machine, and when we streamed Houdini a few weeks ago at Mr. Pinball, that's mrpinball.com.au, we went out the back to the warehouse where he's got a Magic Girl, and it was not turned on, and I was literally staring at it, just doing my biz all over the artwork. It is just spectacular artwork in every way, and it's also one of those things which I love, is that the more you look at it, you start sort of zooming in and you start seeing things you hadn't seen before. That's it. Oh my god, it's so good. Just don't turn it on and play it.
Yeah, if you zoom in far enough, you'll notice that the game doesn't work at all. Anyway, so you can go check out that that interview if you like on his Pinball podcast. That is his Pinball podcast. Okay. In other news, Marty, Pirates of the Caribbean revealed in was it October last year, 2017. Yes. It is finally on the line, Marty, on the line.
Fantastic. That's great news.
Great news. I'm sure it'll take a couple of weeks to kind of, or maybe a couple of months to ramp up, but good news that it people will start to receive them soon. It is the one disc version. I know people were holding on to some kind of small chance that hey, they're taking long because they're figuring out the triple disc thing. That's long gone. Triple disc no more.
Yeah, I got to play it yesterday. I really do love the way it shoots. So good on them. Bring it on. Did
you get pretty deep into the game, or was it just a quick flyby game?
It was just a quick flip.
Okay. Have I played the single disc version? I don't think so.
I think no. I don't know.
No, I haven't.
No, I don't think we have. No. Oh, no.
So Mr. Pinball still has the triple disc version, like hiding away in his warehouse.
Yeah, he does.
Apparently, he's not allowed to let anyone play anymore.
Yeah, okay.
That's the Super LE. I'll buy it off him. What else? Thunderbirds, Marty. They released their manual. Have you seen this? You haven't seen anything, so just say no to everything.
No. But I honestly haven't.
Manuals are good in pinball. I mean, Highway Pinball didn't even release a manual. On one of the pages, it says, Home Pin offers a sincere thanks to the following companies and people for their assistance or guiding ideas, no matter how small or large, in no particular order. Bally, Williams, Stern, JGP companies, all Home Pin Thunderbirds pre-order customers. Karen, Sid, Benjamin Heckendorn, Federico Barbato, Roger Bergen. I'm just destroying these names. Grant Higgins, Sasha Voskal, Amanda Sun, Eddie, just Eddie, E-D-Y. Is that Eddie Stevens?
Eddie Stevens, yep.
Nice.
It is.
I know that guy. Mr. X, which I'm guessing is some anonymous guy that doesn't want to have his name out there. Mm-hmm. James Shaw, Andrew B, and the last one, Matty. Can you guess who the last one is? You haven't looked this up, have you?
Look, no, I have. You told me not to look this up.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Enigmatic pinball designer.
Oh, really?
Social justice. John Papaduke.
Wow. John Papaduke. Okay.
Yep.
I find that really difficult to believe, but keep going.
Well, yeah, John Papaduke. So he somehow helped. I mean, I remember a long time ago, like 3 years ago, people were saying, like, who designed Thunderbirds? I think Mike said it's some like really, really super duper well known designer, and people were like, it's J-Pop, and he's like, no, it's not J-Pop at all. Well, there's no designers in here unless it's Mr. X, besides John Papaduke. So you played it on the weekend, Marty. There's no way it could have been John Papaduke that designed that game, right?
Well, you know what? I did get to play Thunderbirds a couple of times, and on our Facebook page, I said that if it was really good, we'd do a full review. I also got to play Alice Cooper. So it is a great shooting game. One thing I really liked about this, seeing it in the flesh, the art really stands out. It doesn't do it justice in pictures, mainly because I think the artwork is lots of shades of green, but up close it looks great.
Did you get to see the the butter cabinet that I was obsessing over at TPF?
I did look at the cabinet, and it didn't. I would say probably not is the answer, because it wasn't sort of like, I thought you were saying it was kind of high gloss or something. Is that right?
Yeah, like deeper colors.
Yeah, it didn't look that way. So yeah, and I got to play it quite a lot. I had a chat with Bowen about it as well. He's working on the code. The best thing about Alice Cooper is it shoots really well. I actually like the way it shoots. I like the flipper feel.
I thought that was the biggest downside to it. You know, I liked everything else, but I felt like, yeah, I guess we're going to see this stream.
Some of the shots are a little bit awkward. I will give it that. And oh god, I don't know whether I should do this sort of parallel, but don't kill me for this, guys. But you know, when I remember playing Full Throttle for the first time, you look at it and you go, oh my god, it looks amazing. It's got all these different shots, but the shots were never really where you were expecting them to be. And I think it's because we are so conditioned. I was having this conversation only a couple of days ago. We're conditioned that a ramp should only be here, here, and here. And you've got probably 5 millimeters either way that you can move these so they feel a little bit different and fresh. But ultimately, you can only put your shots in these particular locations. And I think Highway and I think Alice Cooper is in that boat where they've thrown that rule book out and they've gone, no. We're going to put these shots here because that's where they look good and that's where it feels good for us. And people, you need to adjust your play style because these shots aren't where you expect them to be.
Okay.
And first game, I was kind of like, I'm bricking all my shots. I'm not getting them. And they're not, some of them are actually really quite tight. Some of these shots, I will say, like, you know, we said that Houdini's got some tight shots. Alice Cooper's got some really tight shots. I'll give it that. But by about my fourth and fifth game, I knew, obviously I'm not, you know, a pro player, so I can't nail it all the time, but I was getting them more and more the more I played because I have to adjust to the game. And I kind of like that because if I want a stern, I'll get another stern.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was really, really impressed with Alice Cooper. The code is not there. It's really, really not there. And
what are they going to? I mean, they're going to be showing the stream tomorrow with Dead Flip. I think it's tomorrow. So surely it's got to be.
I know. Bowen's putting new code in there. I think what I think it is. I think they've taken a bit of a leaf out of the Wizard of Oz school of, you know, learning curve. Like you've really got to read up on this because the inserts don't really tell you what you're doing, is what I'm going to say.
There's been hardly... okay. Well, there's been hardly any... I think most of it's on the screen, which you know...
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But you play the playfield, not the screen.
Okay.
That's the challenge there, where and that was, you know, one of the biggest criticisms of Wizard of Oz as well. Like, as you know, there's always that real funny catchphrase, you know, with Wizard of Oz. What do you shoot for? Go for the flashing light. Well, they're all fucking flashing. Have you not heard that? I can't believe you've not heard that before. That's the ongoing joke about Wizard of Oz. You need to look at the screen and you need to go hold the flipper and go through some of the information.
Okay, you weren't playing a home use only, you know, a home environment. You were playing at this super duper, like there was like 500 machines there or something. So you probably couldn't hear it. I'm sure Mr. Alice Cooper himself is telling you what to shoot for.
He is, and you're right. You couldn't hear it, but. You know, remember the other criticism that people were saying was that, oh, you know, Alice Cooper sounds a bit flat and all that kind of stuff. It absolutely suits this game.
Okay.
I think I really actually quite liked the call outs. I like the music. I like the sound effects.
Well, so
I
you
love the
saying
scream.
you saying that
I love the
you like
scream. I love the scream. And in fact, I had a game of doubles with Crystal Gemnick. Hello, Crystal. Fuck, she's amazing. From Riptide Podcast. And it did this one bit where she hit I think it was might have been the left door, but it came out of the, and it did that scream, and we both just looked at each other and went, "That's cool." Dude, really, I really like it.
You know what it is? I think it's the whole Houdini thing. When you're watching a stream and you're using a snowball mic or whatever mic you're using, it must pick up like high pitched screams way
maybe.
more, like the Houdini laugh that just sounds horrible on the stream, and when you're in there in person, you can't really hear it. It's not as obvious
at all. No, that's right. That's exactly right.
So, Jack Danger, if you're listening, make sure you adjust all the settings so that the scream is, toned down. Anyway, moving on from Alice Cooper. What else?
So, you're saying that? Are you telling me that Alice is on the line though?
I think I wrote that down, but I think they've delivered one or something.
Because they've delivered one, and so they'll get their feedback, and then they'll do whatever they need to do. But I think there's a lot of promise with Alice Cooper, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Code updates. There was 3 Stern code updates this week. Star Wars was just a normal system update. I think there's a system update now that you can control the speakers more and
yeah,
it's like a behind the scenes kind of update. So they want to upgrade every machine to that. So Guardians of the Galaxy was bug fixes and the system update. Batman it now has 2 new minor villains, just to add to the list of 1 million minor villains. Sure. Can I just say this? I just want Lyman Sheets to finish coding that fucking game so he can work on another game. I'm being selfish here, but like, just clone him.
Ryan, how long ago did I say that? How long ago? Just see if you can remember how long ago it was when I said, do you know what? It's all well and good that he's working on Batman, but I wish he would stop because there's other games that I wish he was working on.
Well, every time an update, yes, okay, you
6 months.
You're 6 months ahead of me, Marty, in intelligence and thought.
No, no, it's not about that. It's more so that was like 6 months ago. Come on, Lyman, please.
I'm just every time he does an update, I think, okay, well, this would be it, and then it'll be done. No, it's just going to take forever, and it's going to be like 2000 and like the end of 2019. Like, this is the new game that Lyman's working on. They're like, all right, I can get excited again. Well,
so speaking of Lyman, sorry to do this one, but obviously, I don't know whether we did speak about the fact that he was on the Slam Tilt 100th episode.
You're that tired and all over the place, Marty, that you don't remember that we did talk about it for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, did we? But did we talk about the fact that and because I met Lyman.
Oh.
I might have actually played.
Have you washed your hands, Marty? Lyman. Have you washed your hands since?
I did shake his hand. I think he might have gone for a fist bump, and I'm like, oh no, Lyman. I didn't travel all around the fucking world just to get some fucking knuckles, man. I need full palm exchange of bodily. There you go. But I always say, and all I kept thinking about whenever I saw Lyman is like, oh, Lyman, you were supposed to work on Star Trek.
Was he meant to work on Star Trek?
Yes. Did you not get that? Oh, no. Maybe we didn't talk about it, Ryan. He said that he was scheduled to work with Steve Ritchie on Star Trek and then got moved off it before it started. Just
to work on the spy
coding
system
for Star Trek.
Yeah.
No, might have been. But just imagine that. Imagine Lyman Sheets having done the rules for Star Trek. Just let it sink in.
That's what I want. I want like as in like I've always like wondered like just a really simple layout. Like what can you do with that? I mean, Lord of the Rings doesn't have like a super simple layout. I mean, people call it a fan layout, but as Keith Johnson said, you can make a simple layout good by having diverters and things like that.
Yeah, of course, right.
Star Trek, I guess you can divert into the pops. It doesn't have diverters for the ramps or anything. I don't know.
If anyone can work out like okay, well think about Walking Dead, right? Walking Dead does not have a complex layout, and there's not a lot of diverters. There's not a lot of inserts. It's just there. So he could make magic out of that. So
okay. You said there's not a lot of diverters, but there's 2 ramps on the game, And,
Sure.
and 4 different things can happen with those 2 ramps. You can hit that, the bicycle girl
There's 3 ramps
shot.
on Star Trek. Sure.
You can hit the bicycle girl shot, and then the ramp goes up and you can smash her face.
On the LE and premium, yep.
Yep. The right ramp, you can hit it, and the arena shot, it can go all the way around, or a magnet pulls it into the crossbow
On the
lane.
premium and LE, yep.
Yep. I mean, I don't want to talk about peasant pros, okay? Even though I'm just joking. Anyway, so...
But anyway, my point is, I wish we could just turn back time and get him to work on Star Trek, because that would have just been an absolute masterpiece.
You should sell your game, Marty. Obviously, you're unsatisfied with it.
Well, I've now got Iron Maiden. I've totally moved on. Like,
Do you have Iron Maiden, Marty? Do you have Iron Maiden?
Well, I own Iron Maiden. It's still at your house. Are you enjoying it?
I am. I'm taking your advice and not playing it 24 hours a day, and it just like once or twice a day max.
Okay.
But they are quite long games. Anyway.
But the very first thing I'm doing when I get back is actually looking at the play count.
Okay, I'm re-seeing it tonight, and okay.
Awesome.
Shall we do Slam the Top 100?
Yeah. So we recap on what happened last week.
Sure. I absolutely destroyed you again. Congo's an inferior game. Bloody blah blah blah. Yep.
You know what? It was always going to be difficult when you've got a game that people, they might not have played, but at least they know, versus a game that they don't know at all.
Yeah, 500 units back in the 80s or whenever it was. No one's played it except for people at Pinburg. Did you play it this weekend, Marty? Andromeda?
No, I didn't. It was. Do you know what? I actually nearly did, and I'm pretty sure I saw it. But it was. I think there was 15 minutes before they were closing the doors, and I was pinballed out. I really was pinballed out. So I
too busy playing Thunderbirds. So yeah, I think Congo won like 80% to Andromeda's 20%. I did have the better GIF, but cats can't always win. All right,
No.
Let's go again, Marty.
Okay.
Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
All right.
Make sure I unsynced my Bluetooth headphones this time.
1.
Ah,
Oh, no.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, you can't do Attack from Mars again.
what are the chances? Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
You get 100 now,
Fucking better than that.
which is America's Most Haunted.
43.
Fishtails.
Fishtails.
We've done fishtails. I did that GIF of the guy fishing.
Yes.
Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
All right. 100.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious?
America's Most Haunted.
This is rigged. Oh, fuck me. Alright.
You watch. I'm going to get 99.
Which is Paragon. We should
Paragon.
just destroy America's Most Haunted. Okay.
Oh, no.
Please generate a number from 0. Oh, fuck. That's so fucked up. Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
Coming right up. 59.
59, Andromeda.
Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
All right.
I'm going to leave all this in so that people know what we have to go through.
90.
Yes, that's pretty high up.
Dirty Harry, we've already done it. Did you say 90?
Yep. Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
Sure. 38.
Game of Thrones.
Have we done that?
No.
Good. I'll destroy Game of Thrones. I will absolutely annihilate Game of Thrones. Horrible game. I do own one, but horrible game. Okay,
Okay.
let's do it. You're up first, Marty.
Okay. I'm going to talk about Game of Thrones. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is, yes, the art sucks. Okay? So you can go on about it as much as you like.
You
Ryan,
did this like this is your new strategy.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, John Trudeau
that's
did thing. You can't say this because if you say
exactly right.
yeah, all right,
That's
all right.
exactly. You like it?
Yeah.
My new method. I'm
Bullshit.
rocking it.
Bullshit.
But the thing about the artwork is that over time it didn't matter because the gameplay is actually really good. The layout it's a really good Steve Ritchie layout, a little bit unconventional for him as well. Yes, it's flow, but it's really interesting because it's a flow game with a stop-start rule set. So it actually really has to make you think about what you're doing strategically on the fly, which is a really interesting way of being able to play a modern Stern. I do like the houses. And yes, Ryan, you're going to talk about the fact that everyone only picks one or two houses. There you go. There's my method again. But it's still really fun to work through battling all the other different houses, getting to Hand of the King, then getting to Iron Throne. Light show's great. Love the layout. Could do without the upper playfield on the Prim and the LE, but overall, it is a really solid game that has just aged really well. There you go, Game of Thrones.
America's Most Haunted. I've owned this machine. It was great fun. I have never, ever laughed, and I've said this before on the podcast, this is not bullshit. I don't think I've ever laughed more in a pinball machine than in America's Most Haunted because the call-outs are fantastic. It's that weird, quirky nerd humor that that Charlie and his whole family has that I enjoy. Designed by Ben Heck and Charlie. You got some good shots in there. I'm not going to say it's as good as a shooter as Game of Thrones, okay, going up against Steve Ritchie here. You've got a jump ramp, you've got that big shot in the middle with the magnet that holds the ball, you got a shot through the pops, you got some cool skill shots, you know how to control your balls, sexual connotations there, everyone loves that. Elvira without the boobies. And it's got a good sound system. It's very well built. There's only 150 of these, okay? This is a good investment. America's Most Haunted, Spooky's first pinball machine, sold out. America's Most Haunted. There we go.
Cool. So my rebuttal is, if it was so good, you would still own it. You could not get rid of it quick enough.
I had it for about a year, Marty. Bullshit.
Yeah, couldn't get rid of it quick enough. If it was that good, you would still have it. I know that because you keep machines that you really like. But you know what? I will agree. I actually found the call-outs in America's Most Haunted hilarious, and I did laugh out quite a lot as well. I actually do like it. The biggest problem with it is that it is too fast, too brutal, and the rules just aren't as polished as they need to be. It's almost like they are deliberately difficult because that's how Ben Heck liked them. Whereas it was more sort of like, think about the player's experience and what they would want to enjoy. I think that's sort of the missing thing.
Oh, I can use that same argument for Game of Thrones, Marty.
Go for it.
Okay, think about what the players would like on Game of Thrones.
They would like light flashing in their faces.
Yeah, okay. Let's just... This is going to be, this might go for a little bit long, okay? So don't fucking say my time's up. No, there's no timer. The artwork, okay? The artwork isn't the worst. It isn't the worst artwork ever on a pinball machine, but it is the worst artwork.
It's most haunted.
It is the worst artwork ever for a property that deserves good artwork. Okay, Game of Thrones, watch it on HBO. It is a beautiful world. There are so many details in the background of every scene. Okay, the costumes, the backdrop. And then what do you get? There's a couple of gears in the intro of Game of Thrones, which has like nothing to do with the the little opening intro, the and like, okay, let's go with that. Let's just plaster gears all over the fucking playfield. Nothing to do with the actual thing. There's no characters on there. There's no dragons. Nothing. Okay, so that's art. Okay, 0 out of 10. The layout, yes, it shoots well. It's a Steve Ritchie game. All these games shoot well, except for the Premium and the LE, who has that diverter that's meant to divert into the pops every once in a while. It didn't work out of the box. Stern kept on producing them. Steve Ritchie said at a couple of conferences that he would fix it. I'm guessing it was out of his hands. It never got fixed. It got coded out of the game. So in the next update, the ball would always go into the pops. So that restricts your flow. The upper playfield. This machine got released around the same time that the Hobbit got released. And you look at the Hobbit and you look at that, and it's just night and day. The castle, okay, that the upper playfield is meant to be a castle. It is literally like just plastics printed with a brick layer, and you compare that to, say, Wizard of Oz, who the castle is actually a castle, like you can feel the bumps on there, right? Super cheap looking, huge, takes up the play field. People say it's fun. It's not. The Pro's better. We've said that on the show before, Marty. Waste of money.
The Pro is, definitely the better machine. There's no doubt about it. But if you really are going to only really talk about how a game looks, which is like 90% of your argument, you've got to know that America's Most Haunted could well be the worst artwork in recent memory.
It's got 3D printed parts, Marty, which means that, if
I'm talking just the playfield art. It's just... It's
as tough. It's as tough as steel, Marty. No ghosting, okay? A million ball drops on there. Charlie tested it, and it still doesn't ghost. A million, Marty. A million. Okay.
But that's probably because there's no GI, so you can't actually see the playfield.
Okay, well, let's talk about lighting then. So, the object of the lighting in Game of Thrones is to fucking blind you. Okay,
yep,
winter is coming. Okay, the most annoying fucking mode in pinball because it locks you out of everything. Okay, you hit a shot that you think is going to do something, and it's like, no, you're in winter is coming, you dickhead. You cannot get out of this. Hey, you want to time it out? I'm going to stop the fucking clock. Okay, so you have to make another shot, another safe shot, or hit this shot. No, I don't want to play this fucking mode. I don't want to. At least let me time it out. Why are you forcing me to make this shot?
I know.
I hate you.
I've got to concede. The problem with that is that Winter Has Come is such a fun multi-ball. But it's just a pain to get to it. And so on my stream, when I was doing when I was streaming Game of Thrones when I had it, I would always go for Winter Has Come multi-ball just because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, you're right. The game forces you to either do that or do all your houses. You can't sort of do both. It locks you out of the game. I totally get that.
Yep. Now,
but it's good that it's actually got modes that are enjoyable.
The one where the stripper ghost takes that guy away and he's like, oh no. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly voice.
Hashtag me too. Film.
All right. It's a female stripper, Marty. It's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's how society works. Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, so yes, it blinds you.
Are you still going?
The last thing is the code. You said I'm just going to go about art. Okay, the last thing is the code. The code is too hard to understand for the average person, okay?
No.
Even Colin McAlpine couldn't tell you how to increase, okay? The guy who won Pinburg, the guy who's rated in the top 20 players in the world right now. Yeah, not this year, but that's okay. He's rated in the top 20 players in the world, okay? So you think that he would understand the rules. He doesn't even know how to increase the super jackpot value in the main multi-ball, Marty. Why? Why is the super jackpot worth 17.35, blah, 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 all these fucking numbers? Why?
Why does it matter what it's worth?
Why does it matter what it's worth?
Nerds like you care about that stuff.
Because it's points, Marty. It's what pinball's all about, getting points, right? Anyway, it's a mass equation. The entire rule set is a massive mass equation. Do you like doing maths? You will like this game. Right?
The problem you've got is you are arguing against something that has got art that doesn't live up to its expectations, but the art is massively superior to America's Most Haunted.
No, it's not.
You are complaining about...
It's not.
America's Most Haunted art is shocking. It is absolutely fucking dreadful. Anyway, then you're going on about Game of Thrones rules, and they are better rules than America's Most Haunted.
Okay,
that's
I want
the way it is.
Well, it's expectations, Marty. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get
when I lie to you, Marty, it's not a big deal. When the Prime Minister or the President of the country lies, there's an inquisition. Okay. So this is what it is. It's expectations. This is one of the biggest licenses ever. It's still relevant. Okay.
No, I get that, but what we're saying here is where those two machines side by side. You would own a Game of Thrones over an America's Most Haunted. That's fact.
Okay, Marty, what happened when I got it back from you? I put it in my garage and I put it on site. I didn't even want to accept it into my house.
Yeah, because you just knew that we would argue this one day, and you didn't want to have.
Well, I knew it was going to make a shitload of money because it's it's Game of Thrones.
Because it's a better game than no one.
Well, because it's
America's Most Haunted on site. What would it make?
The playfield would never go, Smarty. Unless I got pin stadiums, because you said you can't see. Anyway, there's a lot of good ghost gifts that I can put on there.
I know.
Anyway. I'm not sure if I can get a good Game of Thrones gift. So
Hilarious.
Come on, guys, I've lost like how many weeks in a row? Let me win this one, please. I'm begging you. Should we do our before we get to this week in pinball money? Should we do our competition or? Actually, no, we'll do that after our This Week in Pinball because it's related to the results.
Force everybody to listen to my Pinberg story.
Yeah. So I want to go first, Marty, because mine will take 2 minutes. So I went to the Bayside Pinball competition this week. I had the format is you play 3 games and your scores get added up together, but they get weighted because, Ghostbusters is, you can blow up that game where you can't blow up Simpsons to get a super high score on that. So Nigel had this insane game on Ghostbusters where he got 2 billion, which raised the weighting of everything else. I had the most pathetic games I've ever played on Ghostbusters, like 13 million on Ghostbusters, 20 million on Aerosmith. So I was just like having fun and ready to go home. But then the last game was I was put on Simpsons, and the weighting of that was like 25 times or something. So all I had to do is get like 12 million and get into the finals, which was, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I just don't think that I played well enough to do that. The garage was half working, enough to make me lock 2 balls and then stop working. But yeah, I did get enough to get into the finals and proceeded to get knocked out on that. But that was good fun. I did have a quick chat to Luke Marburg, who is the head of IPA Pinball in Australia, and I had a quick chat to him about what went on during the Flip Frenzy thing. I can't get into too much detail. I mean, I wasn't privy to
I had a conversation about it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff is going to happen, and they're not treating what happened lightly. And let's just say that the people that did what they did aren't really getting.
Technically, it's cheating.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's actually because I remember you said,
yes.
Oh well, if they do that, it's kind of okay. And
No, it's not.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but we just didn't know. But I had that conversation, and they did investigate, and it is cheating.
Yeah. No. Well, no, I was wrong. So because there is a clause in the IFPA rules that says that you are not allowed to. I'm paraphrasing here, but like collude with players to benefit yourself and alter the outcome of games, and that's what agreeing to play a one-ball game is. So it is technically. I mean, the word cheating isn't in the IFPA rules, but it's said it would be frowned upon, and they have the right to disqualify you because of that.
Well, yeah, and do you know what? A lot of people. Well, there were some Australians over there, but there was other people as well, and people were sort of like, geez, because I kind of went a little bit off last week about this because it really did disappoint me a lot that. And I'll just very summarize last week where, Flip Frenzy is such a fun format. And honestly, everybody, if you are in Chicago Wednesday night, go to Logan Arcade because Jimmy Nails from Netherworld, whom we had on the show, and we talked about this, he's doing a Flip Frenzy and Jack Danger is going to be streaming it. So go along to Logan Arcade on Wednesday night because you will experience the most fun pinball format there is, particularly but not limited to the novice player, because you just have a minimum amount of the minimum amount of time. What is it? Minimum amount of time, 3 hours of the maximum amount of games that you can play, and you just get paired up with so many different people, and it's fun, it's chaotic, it's crazy, and I love this format. And for people to find a loophole, it just really, really disappointed me. And I sort of went off and I said, those people are cheats, and I called them that. I didn't know technically they were cheating, but we've had it confirmed, and it's just I don't even know whether it needs to go any further. I just think people need to know that I am personally disappointed.
Oh no, well that's what I'm saying. It will go further, and I guess a statement kind of needs to be made so that people know not to do it, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
so
I finished 8th in that competition. Marty, I streamed Tron on Wednesday. That was fun. I did that with Peter Burdico. And then last night I streamed Iron Maiden. I guess I don't really have too much to say except for there's two things I noticed about Iron Maiden. One, when you drain after, I think, Fly the Icarus, I think he says more like Air Force Done instead of Air Force One, which I found pretty funny.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yep. Here's another massive spoiler, Marty. If you're playing Rime of the Ancient Mariner, how long is that song, Marty?
20 minutes?
I think it's 13 minutes. Okay,
I knew it was going to be long.
Yeah. So, when you play ball to ball, it'll continue on with the song. But if you jump into a mode, which is pretty easy to get into at the start, or a multi-ball, it changes the music, and then it goes back to your song, but it continues on. But, I mean, Rime of the Ancient Mariner changes kind of tone about 7 minutes in or so. So 7 minutes of play without being in a mode is quite hard. I had a bit of a long game yesterday, and I got to that bit, and the whole feel of the pinball changes because it's at this kind of somber part of the song. The shaker motor turns off, Marty, and the call out, some of the call outs stop, and it just gives you a sound effect. And it was such a weird moment in pinball I've never experienced before because, it's high energy music, and you got these call outs, and you got the shaker going off, and this bam, 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 bam. And that kind of wouldn't work with that part of the song. And it was just a really cool moment that you'll get to experience.
Just that moment of serenity.
Yeah. Well, as I said, you make shots, but it's just this weird calming thing. And then I hit the sarcophagus shot to lock the ball from my multi-ball, and the shaker motor usually goes mental, and it just didn't go off at all. So they've purposely programmed in that to match up with that mode. Unless there was a machine malfunction that just happened to happen during that point.
Yeah, Keith's listening now, and he does.
Yeah.
And he's going, dude, that's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
Can you just report that as a bug?
I'm hoping that was on purpose. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, it'd be too much of a coincidence to. Anyway, Martin, have you been up to anything at all this weekend, Marty?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay, moving on. Let's go. You were at Pinburg,
right.
Marty, the world's biggest pinball competition ever in the world.
Well, okay, so
$100,000 worth of prize money, Marty. $100,000.
Yep. And do you want to know how much of that I got?
How much money?
No, nothing.
Nothing?
That was obviously. No.
Hey, I was looking up, Marty. So just before you jump in and talk for 3 hours about Pinburg,
Sure.
The entry fees for Pinburg are about $101,000, and the prize money over $100,000. So, what the hell? Where do they get the money to run this event when they're giving you all the money back to everyone that joins? eBay sponsors.
What you've also got to understand, there's also an entry into Replay FX fee as well.
Okay, and so that's an extra $80,000, I guess.
Well, that's just for people in the tournament.
Okay.
Okay, can we just take a step back?
Yes.
So, Ryan, I went to Pinburg this week. Can we just backtrack? Because I'll explain that. Because I didn't just go to Pinburg, I went to Replay FX. Replay FX is a gaming convention.
Okay.
And, think of it like, we've been to PAX or we've been to a Supernova, and I'll probably use PAX is probably the biggest parallel in that it is massive. So the hall that this place was at the David L. Lawrence, whatever his name is, Convention Center in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's massive. It's like, Jeff Shed. It's just massive.
Yeah.
If you think about PAX is about, I don't know, 50% game developers, 50% game developers, probably about, I don't know, 35% LAN gaming and console gaming, and then there's 10% classic gaming, and then 5% pinball.
Okay.
That's probably the mix.
Yeah.
Pinburg is of just looking at the space that they had. You probably had about, I would say, a quarter of it was the Pinburg location where all the machines were just in the competitions. Then you had a middle section that had all the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had another area that had sort of a mix of arcade games and probably another 200-300 pinball machines.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had console gaming and LAN gaming and all that kind of stuff. And then you also had board gaming, tabletop gaming. There was a sort of a seminar area there as well. So really, if you add it up, 50% of the hall was pinball. 50% of it was either vendors or console gaming, arcade gaming, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So, and this place was packed. It wasn't just people going into the tournament area. The rest of it had thousands of people. So they're all paying. I think it was for a 3-day pass. It was like $100 US.
Okay.
Or 4-day pass, I think it was. So overall, the event Replay FX.
But who runs that? Is that run by the same people that run?
That's Replay Foundation. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So as it's grown, they sort of said, you know what, for Pinburg to become a bigger event, let's make it Replay FX and expand it into, and I think that, I don't know, maybe, guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it was probably 2 years ago. So yeah, so 24 months ago, I think was maybe the first time when they've gone, right, Replay FX is now the new event and it's going to be a mix of everything. So this thing is massive.
Okay.
I'll tell you the only thing that really did differ from any of the other gaming conventions was there wasn't as much cosplay.
Okay.
At all. Like normally going to all of these conventions, it's freaking cosplayer-armor. It wasn't really that much. And it was a different demographic, I think is what I'll say. But so much fun. So much fun. Everybody that was there was just having a great time.
Well, I mean, no one's really good. Yeah. I mean, we're doing a pinball podcast and no one really gives a shit about that stuff. It's more about pinball, right?
Yeah.
People don't care about cosplay.
No, I guess so. But that's why I'm saying, because I think it was 50% pinball, who are you going to do cosplay in pinball? It just does. It's a different market. But really what it's saying is that there was just a lot of people there with a lot of things to do besides be in a tournament. The tournament was there, but there was so much of other stuff to do, and there was just a lot of people that didn't do the tournament at all. So let's talk about Pinburg, the tournament itself. Oh my God, Ryan!
I want a play-by-play, ball-by-ball action every single.
Just for the Eclectic Gamers podcast,
yeah,
because that's what they wanted.
I listened to the first 20 minutes of their podcast today. No pinball talk at all. Just talking about their dishwasher or some shit. I'm like, holy shit! Come on, guys.
That is, they are breaking one of the Chris Franchi rules of podcasting.
Well, you're throwing some shade about Pinburg out there, and they talk about dishwashers. All right.
Anyway, okay. So as we know, I guess it was 840 people start. But remember that there was a queue a mile long of a waiting list of people to come in, and there would have been, I reckon, 30, 40 people just standing near the entrance to the tournament area, waiting to see if they got in.
Wow.
Now, one of the things that we talked about when people were putting their predictions in, I said that one of my people that I predicted was Eric Stone, and then we sort of noticed that he was number 78 or something on the waiting list.
Yep.
Well, he got in.
How is that possible?
Because that's how far down the waiting list they go.
But did they not update the waiting list online, or did that many people not rock up on the day? Because I find that very hard to believe. It's probably that many people
don't rock up. Yeah.
On the day? They just give up. What?
Yeah, some people just would not have been able to make it for whatever reason, or they've cancelled their tickets before the event, right? So, yeah, and then there's also, if you think about this, we'll use Eric as an example, he's 78th on the waiting list. That doesn't mean that there were 77 people there in front of him waiting to get in, right?
Yeah.
And if you're on the waiting list and you've got no guarantee and you're coming from the other side of the States or from overseas, you're not going to turn up with the chance of being able to get in, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's really probably only going to be the locals that get in. So that's what I'm assuming anyway. So it's incredibly well organized. You sit down. Like Bowen gave a really good speech, gave us set some expectations of what we need to do, and then we get into our groups. And basically, what they say is, and there's an app as well. So you just go to the Pinberg site, and you can see your scores and which bank or set that you're on. You go to your set. There's a bit of paper there. It's got your name on it. You play your games, and 3 points win, then 2, 1, and 0. And I had a really good first round. I think I might have got maybe 8 points. Mm-hmm. Maximum you can get is 12, right?
Okay.
I think I got 8 points, and I was like, yeah, that's right. In fact, the very first game we played was Theatre of Magic, and I just blew that thing up. There you go. So, and they hadn't done the theatre diverter thing, so it just played regularly, which was good.
7, Marty. 7. I'm looking at your results here.
There you go. So I was happy with that because the first game I won, then it kind of started getting a little bit downhill from there. And so the next round, I think, was really bad.
Stars, Marty. You played Stars.
And I remember going up to Bruce Nightingale from Slam Tilt saying, I've just played the most overrated game there is. And he said, what? I went, Stars.
How bad did it fuck you, Marty?
In the ass.
That's the worst type of fucking no. So you played Circus Voltaire, Doodlebug, and World Cup Soccer. And you scored a 3 out of all those machines. So you must have done pretty hard on all of them.
Yeah, because okay, so this is kind of like Swiss pairing, right? So the better you do, the
better players you're playing against. The
better players you're playing against, right? So it was.
This is the weird thing, Marty, is that when I do Swiss pairings at my place, the same 4 players could be playing each other just like the entire tournament, right? But with this one, it's super duper avoids you playing the same people. So if you're player 1, 2, 3, 4, and you all get like 6s and you're still at the top, it won't match you up with the same people the next round. It will then say, okay, 1 versus 5 and etc. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see anyone else in any of your rounds twice?
Yes, in fact, there was a guy in my first round, David. I want to say Ziegler.
Yep.
Ziegler.
Yep.
I actually saw him, I think maybe 2 more times.
Okay.
And yeah, in fact, he was in the second last round and the last round.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I didn't do really good on round 2. Yeah, with 3 points.
Round 3, Attack from Mars, Poker Plus, Jurassic Park, and Royal Flush Deluxe.
Right. So, I got an 8 in this round. And basically because I absolutely smoked Jurassic Park. Okay. Smoked it.
Because you know the rules of that game.
I know the rules of that game. But everybody knows the rules of that game. The smart missile button was deactivated, so I managed to get chaos. So like the actual like chaos multi-ball or whatever it's called, right?
Okay.
So nobody could do that. It was these machines are set up really tough, so that wasn't going to happen. So I got an 8 out of 12. That wasn't too bad.
Okay.
My next one,
you're up against podcaster Taylor Reese and Jack bar owner John Elric.
Yes. Who is John? Taylor Reese, freaking awesome guy as well. John, one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. Just such a really, really good guy. Yeah, he's the owner of Jack Bar.
Yeah. Big
so
Hurt.
Machines that I have here.
Big Hurt, Soundstage, Sorcerer, and Force 2. Is that what it is? Force.
Oh, okay, right. Yep, it is Force 2. Okay. Sorcerer, it's the infamous Sorcerer that's got the big fat rubber on the ramp, so nobody managed to get into multi-ball on that game. But Force 2, one of those sort of weird Gottliebs of the time that most people dislike, well, especially, Bruce from the Slam Tilt, he hates those games. I love that game.
Okay.
I really do like those quirky Gottliebs of
You
the era.
probably like it because you went well on it. You would love Stars if you got a 4 on Stars. Okay, you hate it because you love it because you got a really good score.
No, okay. Let's just do just a little bit of a sidebar right now. You know those Stern games, and you've got them as well. And later we're going to talk about the fact that I played Quicksilver and I did really well on that as well. I don't know. I just find those Stern games of that era to be a bit of a one-trick pony.
Inferior to the Belly games at the same time.
Yeah, I get it probably is as well. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Aren't most of the older games a one-trick pony? Spell something and then do something. Spell something and then hit the spinner.
The thing I love about the Stern games is I love the sounds on those games. Just that the noises they put into those, I just love that sound palette. So I got a 10 in that round.
Huge. So then this is the last... Wait, is the last round after this? The last round? No, that was round 4.
That was round 4, so round 5. We know what's in this one.
Okay, round 5. So this was the deciding round to basically split everyone up into their groups, and there's such a backlog in the middle that if you conk out in the last round, like, you're in D. If you do really well, you're in A. So set 66, Simpsons Pinball Party, Volley, which is a one-player, Dr. Dude, and Space Shuttle. Marty, we all know about your love for Simpsons Pinball Party.
It's really nice to have a Simpsons Pinball Party with the garage that works, because as a result, you know what I now think of the game.
You absolutely...
It fucking still sucks. It's a terrible game. But that fucking couch shot up the top was just terrible. Anyway, here's the deal as well, right? If you got a perfect 12 in any of these rounds, you got a medallion.
Don't tell me it was Simpsons that fucked you, Marty.
So in this particular round, I had won the first 3 games, and it was just up to Simpsons Pinball Party. And what happened was I had this freaking monster first ball. You like monster, and everyone was just like, "Oh my god, that's going to be really hard to beat." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm going to get a medal. This is freaking exciting." And then people had, an okay ball. Second ball, house ball. What? House ball? How is that possible? Well, of course, there's no ball save.
That's why you safely plunge into the flippers.
Which I tried to do on my third ball.
And drain down the right out lane? Please tell me you did that.
No, it hit the pop bumper on the left, then the right, and then the left out lane.
That is glorious. Okay.
And then two people caught me. So
you deserve it, Marty, for just... There's so many negative things you've said about Spite. Yeah. That's just Simpsons karma getting back at you.
It doesn't bother me.
No.
It doesn't bother me. I would rather still have that than, yep, I won, and now I have to love Simpsons Pinball Party.
So you got a 10 in that round, Marty, which propelled you all the way into A Division. You were ranked 69 out of 843 players at the at the end of the day. That's quite an achievement, Marty, just in qualifying.
Yeah, you know what? I was... So remember when people were sort of asking me, what's my expectation? I know Colin asked me, and I didn't want to let everybody know what my expectations were. I would have just been delighted, over the moon, to qualify in A. That for me was my stretch goal.
Mm-hmm.
I was limited to B, so I could only be in B division no matter what. I think that's because I got into the finals at Indisc, maybe,
or Papa.
Or Papa, or something like that. Anyway, I was definitely restricted to B division, so I was absolutely over the moon. And so I came into day 2
with the same amount of points as Colin McAlpine, but right? You were without spreadsheet, Marty.
I was without spreadsheet. I was also without the adequate amount of sleep. I
Marty.
was also with probably a higher than required blood alcohol limit. And
what happened on the first night, Marty? Tell us.
I just happened to meet Mrs. and Dr. Pin, and we just talked all night. And I just looked at my watch and I went, "Holy crap!"
You showed me a
2 o'clock in the morning.
You showed me a picture at midnight. I'm like, okay, yes, you've met each other. Now go to bed. I was like being like the adult, like, go to bed, Marty. You qualified in A. Go to bed. And then you message again 2 hours later, like drunk, and I'm like, what the fuck? You got finals tomorrow. Why aren't you in bed?
I don't know.
You could have done that on the second night, Marty.
I was just having so much fun with those guys, and it was just like old friends catching up, and we just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. And honestly, I just looked at my watch and went, "Oh my god! I swear it was 5 minutes ago. I looked at my watch and it was midnight.
Where were you?
Now 2 a.m.
Where were you? Were you in
their hotel room?
Their hotel room or your hotel room?
Their hotel room. Dr. Bin bought a selection of gin, like maybe 4 different gins for me to try. What do you think I'm going to do here, Ryan?
You got absolutely wasted. Wow.
I did drink quite a bit. So I wasn't feeling great the next morning. And my very first group is testament to how under the weather I was.
Set 39, 24, the greatest call-outs of all time. Big Indian.
Oh, wait a second. Before you do that, what you got to understand, each of these sets has got a name.
Yes, the set for this one is called
Them's Good Jackpot Call-Outs. And I didn't know why, but you know why, don't you?
Yeah, 24. It's just... Yeah. Hey, 24 actually shoots really well. I will take 24 as, like, you know, the way the ball flows and having fun shooting over so many other games. It's just, you know.
The problem with this one, there was only really a couple of machines that suffered from this. 24 was so flat. It was so floaty.
Okay.
It was not fun.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So it was really the exception.
Okay, 24, Big Indian, Phantom of the Opera, and 8 Ball. How did you do in this division, Marty?
I actually did really well in this division.
By getting a 2 out of 12.
I got 2 out of 12. I did not do very well at all. And it was one of those things, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't sort of like, I was just uncoordinated is the only way I can describe that.
Staying up till past 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to do it, right?
Playing against Robert Gagno as well.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So the way this works for everyone that doesn't understand Pinburg, or if you're still listening, so basically your points carry over. There's 10 sessions. So the first 5 sessions, and each session is 4 games, you get a score out of 12, and then you kind of get a ranking. And in every round, every session, it re-ranks everybody. At the end of day 1, after 5 sessions, you've got a score. So I think, Marty, you were 39 points.
Sure.
When you continue on the next day to get into the finals, the top... So, Marty, you're then in a group of 170 people, around that.
Okay.
The top 40 people get into the finals, and you don't start fresh. Your results on the first day carry on. So you were in a decent position. You were ranked 69, so you had to do a lot better to climb up. So getting a 2 out of 10, that sent you to the absolute back of the pack. You are now ranked 140th. Yep. So set number 7, Marty, was you're up against Justin, Josh.
It was called Uncle Ben Never Made It to 65.
And that was, it's loading up now, Spider-Man, High Hand, City Slicker, and Embryon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Do you remember playing them?
Not really. I remember playing, Joe Lemire was in this group, so I remember that as being part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 6.
Okay. So
what of it?
I mean, a 6 is like okay to get right, because it's not really going to propel you forward, but it's not a 2 that sends you spiraling down. Okay, the next set, Marty, was Mustang.
Wait a second.
Yes?
Wait a second. Like, the title of this, because I love this.
Okay.
The title of this set is called The Greatest and also Ali.
Which one's the greatest? They got TX Sector, Triple Action, which is a 1-player, Mustang, and Ali. Is Ali a turd, Marty, is it?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Okay. You did pretty well in this round?
Yeah, I did. I did well on Mustang. I did well on TX Sector. I had a good round. So 9 points for this round. I was happy with that.
Yep.
Next one was Magic Mick.
Magic Mick, and the games was Magic, Taxi, Space Race, and Marty's personal favourite, likes it more than Simpsons Pinball Party, the Rolling Stones. Of course, out of all the games that you don't get to play, you get matched up on Rolling Stones.
I did. And look, you know what? We played some games, but every single person in this round ended up with 6 points each.
Okay. Well, there's no sandbagging because this is to get into the final, so that's a genuine result. 6, yeah.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay.
And then the last round was called I'll Flip Ya.
And you got Quicksilver, Creature from the Black Lagoon, El Toro, and The Hobbit. And Marty, you were up against in the last round, and pretty much, I mean, you'd have to get like almost a 12 to get into the finals at this point, or
no. So in this last round, I had to get a 12 to get into the finals. So the first game we played was Lyman Sheets was in my group. Let's just put it out there, right?
Okay. This
is where we touched palms. So the first game, and this is when my first interaction with Lyman Sheets was when he came over and he said, "Oh, what game are we playing first?" And he went, "Ugh, El Turdo." And we played El Turdo, and I just had house ball after house ball after house ball and came last.
Okay.
But the next game we played was Creature from the Black Lagoon. And here was where the real magic happened.
Okay.
Because I got to watch Lyman Sheets be Lyman Sheets.
Okay, well, there's two strategies two strategies that I know of. One is just shooting up the middle all day long, and the other is to blow up multi-ball with multipliers. Okay,
so what do you think Lyman did?
I really don't know, because he's been a tournament player for 20 years. I reckon. Well, if you enjoyed him doing it, then I'm confident that it was multi-ball.
Yep, and he freaking blew it up.
Okay.
Blew it up. But what was really interesting, so he did the whole, get the one jackpot and then get into the whirlpool, so it just multiplies the play field and does it 2 times, 4 times, whatever, and then gets the super jackpot, and bam, there it is. But I mean, he won. Look, spoiler, he won with like 600 mil, right? But he actually got a super jackpot, and he had the playfield multiplier maxed, and it only paid him a one-time value of like 99 million or whatever it was. And he just went, what? Because that was meant to be 4 times. So
you got this, like,
apparently there's a scoring bug.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because there's you find the girl, then you get the jackpot, and then you have to shoot up into the pops, get a certain amount of pop hits, and then shoot the candy bar again for the super.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's right.
Just quite hard to do.
It's quite hard to do. He did it twice, just letting you know.
Okay.
Just letting you know. He did it twice. And I think the scoring bug was he did it the first time with a 2 times multiplier.
Yeah.
And someone was telling me later that if you then, once you've actually cashed it in at 2 times...
It locks it to that.
It's actually a bug. It's meant to lock it, but it didn't even pay him 2 times. It just paid him a 1 time. So... I don't know. Someone said that apparently there is some scoring bug on that game. I don't know what it is. Anyway, point is, I didn't care whether I won or lost. I actually just got to watch him just absolutely blow that up.
So he was unaware of the bug. Dwight Sullivan coded in. It's a Dwight Sullivan game.
Sure, he must have been.
Okay.
Because he was like, no, that's absolute rip-off. I should have got 4 times and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so Hobbit was the last game. So what was the third game? Quicksilver. Yep, won it.
Yeah. Did you know? Did you know the rules at all? Or you just had a really good.
Yes.
Yes. What are the rules of Quicksilver? Please explain to me.
So there's a couple of different strats on it, and some people were going for spinners, but I was doing the sweeping the targets.
And how do you know these rules, Marty? Were you just asking everyone?
Because I know rules. No, do you know the reason why I know this one?
You just pretend not to know rules.
I've watched a Bowen tutorial on this one.
Okay. Cool.
But So anyway, and we'll get to rules in a second. So anyway, I got 6 points in the last round. There was no way I was ever going to get into the finals, which I never thought I was going to.
What happened on Hobbit? What happened on Hobbit?
Oh, Hobbit. Well, okay, so here we go. Hobbit, new code, which I'd not played before, and lightning flippers and no post.
And the diverter is disabled as well, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So I didn't really do all that well. I might have come second.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe second or third. But lightning flippers on a Hobbit is amazing.
A lot harder.
But so much more fun as a result of it.
If only you knew how to, like, take the flipper shaft out of your pinball machine, Marty.
Don't touch anyone's shaft. But, so anyway, so I ended up on 6 points. So I ended up 80 overall out of 840 people. I'm freaking stoked with that.
That's pretty damn good. Top 10%.
Yep, not bad at all. Not bad for this little guy who knows fuck all about rules. So here's the deal.
Mm-hmm. In
each of the banks, you effectively get a modern machine, an EM, a solid state, and let's say an alphanumeric, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's your mix. Well, the moderns could have been like a Dirty Harry.
Okay. So everything is a lot older.
So everything's pretty much, anything that's a DMD is really considered a new game.
Yeah.
So where I really get tripped up rules-wise is modern Sterns, if I'm really honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we read them out. Simpsons Pinball Party. Well, I know enough about the rules of those now. The other one was Rolling Stones. Well,
24.
24. I actually did all right on 24 as well. But, you know, I was fine with the rules. And also because of, I think pin tips must have just been absolutely updated with every machine. You know, if I walked up to a machine and said, what do I do? You go to the app, you look up the machine, you then look up pin tips, and it tells you what to do. It was so good, but also you speak to somebody next to you and you go, oh shit, I've not played this, what do I do? And they go, okay, you do this, and do that. Everybody was so cool telling you how to play a game.
Is this even like in the final round where, you know, like if anyone gets a 12, you're getting through kind of thing? Yep. Did Lyman ask you how to play The Hobbit? Since, you know, no. Did you? I
don't think he knows how to play it.
Okay, I don't think anyone knows how to play The Hobbit because I think everyone as a collective decided that they will ignore that pinball machine.
Yeah. So he did. I don't think he did well on it. So yeah, I was completely fine not knowing the rules. So Colin, you can keep your rules, man. No, there wasn't really any sort of machine where I thought, oh, geez, I wish I knew the rules. They were fine. It was either do this like the spinner or do this and probably also fucking light a stupid fucking spinner. I mean, fuck me, spinners.
You're all spin it out, are you, Marty?
Yeah, I am. But I tell you, okay, there was also, did you mention there was a game... You know, one of the games that was in the finals was called Star Pool.
I want to talk about that later. Let's talk about that in the finals.
No, only because...
That game fucking sucks.
No, because, I don't know, I didn't hear you call out Star Pool in any of my list. So there must have been another game. It might have actually been...
Subbed out or something.
Subbed out. Because I either played Star Pool or... I played, you know, EMs sort of got rebranded.
Okay.
So when I was watching that up on the finals on the big screen, I went, I played that game and I freaking crushed it. In fact, I rolled that game.
Okay.
So there you go. I just wanted to just call that out, that this guy rolled a game.
By the way, Colin, if you're listening, I still want your spreadsheet. Thank you. Okay, so the tournament is then over for you. So that was the second day of non-stop pinball play. It's like 12 hours or something.
Yeah, correct.
So then you go to sleep or you do whatever you did that night, and then the next day is the finals, right?
Correct.
So the finals was there's a bunch of divisions. I think there's 5 divisions. The top 40 from each division, then play in 4-player groups. Then the top qualifiers get buys, and that was broadcast. We'll link that in the show notes. And by the time I woke up, it was pretty much in the semi-finals, or I think they call the quarterfinals there. In Australia, it's like quarterfinals are first, and then semi, and then the finals. But I'm pretty sure the way that Papa does it is it's the other way around. It's semi-finals, then quarter, then the finals. I don't know. Anyway, the end of it is the finals. The 4 people that were in the finals was Chris Stevens, which no one guessed was going to be in the finals on our little competition, but he has finished like second and third in Pinburg before, so and he's a local, so he gets to play all the games, right?
That's right. And you know what? Someone actually did say to me, "Oh, Chris Stevens," and it's somebody that's not, Actually, you know what? I'll call it out. It was Mrs. Pin. She said, "Who's Chris Stevens? I don't know who Chris Stevens is," and I can call that out because she's the first person that says that she doesn't know all these people. And I said to her, "Well, it's really interesting because I've seen Chris Stevens on a lot of the Papa tutorial videos, and he is a freaking boss, on EMs and solid state machines."
He just hasn't appeared on any podcast, mate. That's what it is. Once you start appearing on podcasts, people just become a household name, right?
Probably needed to have a T-shirt. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So so obviously Andre Masenkoff and Jim Belcito.
And Keith Alwyn. And the guy who wasn't there was Raymond Davison, who qualified first, had been crushing the competition all weekend long. Just dominating, and just getting 12s nonstop. And unfortunately, like just one bad round, we have a couple of bad balls, and I watched him play, and I was just like, okay, this is when Raymond's going to catch up. This is when no, unfortunately, just pinball sometimes is a bitch, and it doesn't matter if he played 2.5 days worth of really good pinball. He couldn't string anything together in that last round to get into the finals.
But okay. Probably fast forward a little bit, but still talking. I remember sort of talking to Raymond after, and I saw him sort of as the finals were going on. He was the biggest cheerleader for those people in the finals. That was just freaking awesome. And like he was out, but he wasn't sort of really grumpy or down. He was just like, "You get out there, you guys, and you do this," and cheering and all that kind of stuff. And that's just really great sportsmanship.
Well, before we talk about the finals, was there anyone? I mean, what was the mood like at? During the competition? Obviously, when it gets down to the finals, everyone's realised they're not there, and they're kind of watching the 4 best players of the weekend playing. But before then, were people taking the losses really hard? Like, was anyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In
there were some yellow cards.
Okay, for like what, swearing or slamming or like what's going on, rage tilting?
Yep. For swearing and slamming.
Okay. So you can't. So if you drain the ball, you can't say F-U-C-K. You can't do that?
You can, but you can't go, fuck.
Okay.
While slamming the glass on the machine. If you know what I mean.
Okay.
That may have happened. I believe, I don't know anything about it, and I'll report on it, we'll move on, but apparently somebody did get ejected from the competition. I think like day one, but certainly very early on.
Okay. Such behaviour. Okay.
Just bad behaviour. I don't know what the details of it were, but anyway, that happened.
Okay,
and
so
probably for a good thing. So, but yeah, you know what? I was really lucky in that the groups that I got just about throughout all the day, both days, just really good people. I tell you what probably helped.
Yes. Being Australian.
Everybody knew who I was.
Oh. You're super famous, are you now, Matty? I
got to tell you, I'm freaking super famous.
Okay.
No, it was actually, do you know what? It's actually, I'll tell you why that was good. It wasn't an ego thing at all. I mean, it felt good, but it just meant that I still remember going to Indisc for the very first time on my own, not knowing anybody. And, it was only really after a while that, I would speak to people because they didn't know who I was and I didn't know who they were. So it was kind of bit of a lonely experience for me, that first in-disc. This time was a complete opposite because there was always somebody wanting to have a chat with me. So if people would come and they go, and they see my name on the sheet, they'd go, oh, I know you from the podcast. Or people were just randomly coming up saying, I know you from the podcast. So I think that kind of helped.
Was it your looks, Marty? Was it your voice? Or was it the fact that you wore the Head2Head Pinball t-shirt 3 days in a row?
That's actually not true.
No?
Nope.
Did you bring multiple shirts, Marty? Or for yourself, or just one?
Nope.
No?
I wore another podcast's t-shirt on day 3, just letting you know.
Okay. Which one was that?
Pinball Profile.
Okay.
So I may have one for you.
Okay.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, look at me, I'm fucking Martin from fucking Head2Head. we'll get to fucking how awesome that was when we talk about Keith. But that was just, I think it was a bit of an advantage that I had, that people were super friendly to me. So either that, or I just was very lucky and just got amazing people. And what I loved about it is, there was somebody like in group 1 or group 2 that I would constantly see throughout the day, and we'd stop and say, how you going? How'd you go in this round? And what you doing? Oh, yeah, that's bad. Well, maybe this. And I had this bad, house ball and all this kind of stuff. And that's kind of what it was like. It was just people talking about, and that's what I was saying right at the beginning of this podcast, no one was really talking about news and what gossip and what machines coming up from Stern. People were just really celebrating competitive pinball. It was really freaking cool. So yes, it was serious in parts and it was intense, but I think it was just, that's what it was. It was a singular focus, which was on a massive tournament.
Okay. Should we talk about the finals, or is there anything else you want to talk about before then? Okay.
Talk about the finals.
Okay, so game 1.
This game was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep, Guardians of the Galaxy with Groot's mouth disabled, no outlanes. Andrei Masenkov absolutely blew up the game on ball 1. Yep. It's great to see. It's great to see any game played in the finals, because it is like the elite of the elite level. So the strategies that get put out there, and I know it sounds horrible, but I wish there was more modern games. I wish it was Iron Maiden as well as Guardians of the Galaxy and 2 old games. Like, give us one more newer game, because it's fresh. Give us Iron Maiden, because Iron Maiden was played so differently at the New York Championships that I wanted to see different strategies.
But that's not what Pinburg is meant to test you on all of the eras. I know what you're saying about having more modern machines, but that's just not what Pinburg's about.
I mean, because everyone pretty much, well, not everyone, but I mean, the strategy for Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty much the same. It was start Quiz Quest to get into 2-ball multi-ball so you don't get an instant drain. Anyway, Andre came first on that, Chris came second, Jim Belcito came third, and Keith Alwyn, he was on his last ball, I think he had like 12 million or something. I'm not sure what his strategy was. I mean, his strategy was clearly, to go for Groot multi-ball all day long, but I mean, the max you can get on a super, I think, on Groot is 24 million or so, and there was a point where he was about to start his second one, and the mode start was lit, and obviously the mode start is a hard shot, but I mean, it's in the same position as Metallica. If anyone in the world was going to make that shot, you would trust Keith Alwyn, but he didn't go for it. He just went for Groot, and I don't know. I mean, it didn't matter in the end, but I was questioning, as someone who doesn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, I was kind of questioning that strategy versus maybe he was just trying to grind out for 1 point or something. So he came last on that game. So that puts you in a pretty hard position when you come last on a game when there's only 4 games and the scoring isn't exponential. It's 3-2-1-0. The second game is Starpool. Starpool is the game we were talking about before. I don't like this game in a competitive thing, and hey, I'm not a competitive player compared to everyone else out there, but this game pretty much requires you to hit A, B, C, and D, right?
Correct.
And then you get your double...
To double your bonus and then triple your bonus.
Yep. So I think the max bonus you can get is 30,000?
Sure.
Yep. And then after that, there's absolutely fucking nothing to do. So, yes, there's a strategy of making that happen as many times as you can on each ball, but if you're down in the pits on the last ball, then you pretty much can't catch up unless you have the longest ball time in history. That's right. That's shit.
Yeah, but name that many people that can do that.
The thing is, the two top targets cannot be hit with your flipper. You have to get it up top and just hope that it gets in there. That's not, there's the whole luck and skill in pinball.
They're fucking EMs.
I know, but why are they in the finals? Surely there's an EM out there that requires more skill than this.
Oh, well, of course there are, but they sort of try to mix it up. As I said, this was one of the games that came up in my group. I rolled it, right?
Yes.
Nobody else got anywhere close to that, and I was just in absolute sync with this machine, but most people aren't, and that's kind of like the whole thing. Yes, I know, EMs were built at an era, and I don't know if people play. They don't play like they do now, right? They don't do bounce passes and drop catches and all that kind of stuff. So, not that many people really do get up to max bonus.
Yeah, I understand that. I just feel like, if you're lucky enough to get, I don't know. I feel like
it doesn't make great viewing, is what you're saying as well.
Well, I just feel like on the last ball, like someone's having a great game, but they still can't catch up. So you know what I mean? Like, hey, you get a house ball on some of your balls, then you're fucked. I don't know. Yeah. That's not pinball to me. But I didn't grow up in the 50s and the 60s and whatever. So whatever. Anyway,
fair enough.
Game 3, Pinbot. Jim Belcito, Keith Alwyn won that game. Jim Belcito second, Andre third, and Chris last. Game 3 was Pinbot. Jim Belcito blew up the game. Keith came second, Andre third, and Chris last. Chris had a bit of a bad run. So
again, what's really interesting about Pinbot that I noticed is how everybody's just going for the skill shot strategy these days. Like, is that a new thing?
Well, it's a safe-ish shot, and you can get 200,000 per if you get it in there. I don't know, but there was a bit of a problem with that skill shot, right?
It goes up every time you go up there. It goes times 2, times 3, times 4.
I think the max was just times 2 that somebody that Jim Belcito got or something. So after a lock, you get to do it again, or if you get it up there,
sure, and
then the ball somehow trickles into the shoot lane.
Yeah. So you're right. So it is safe.
Yeah, so when Keith Allen was going for that shot, I mean, he could have easily been a little bit closer to Jim. I'm not sure if he would have overtaken him if his skill shots kind of stuck. And we all know that Keith is the skill shot photo taker. So
he couldn't get him.
Yep. So he had a little interview after that round, moving into the last round. And what happened, Marty?
He blamed us.
Yes. What have we got to do with it, Marty?
He blamed us because he was wearing a head-to-head T-shirt and said it was because of the T-shirt.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I would have felt really bad if that wasn't just the most amazing publicity that we could get.
So the equation going into the last game, and spoiler, I'm sure people have watched it, but I invite people to watch this on YouTube. We'll link in the show notes. It's great. I got Chanel to watch, Marty. And
really?
I got Chanel to watch because we're about to go out for lunch. And I'm like, can we just watch the last game? She's like, okay. And she got really into it. She was like, who are we going for? I'm like, fucking Keith. We're going for Keith. He's wearing a head-to-head shirt. And she was just like, oh my God. She was like, fucking, yeah. She was really, it was amazing to watch that. So the last game, Harlem Globetrotters, right?
Yep.
Great game to watch. The equation was that Keith needed to come first to win. But if Jim Belcito came second, it would have forced a tiebreaker. So the game didn't finish when Keith put up a massive score. And Keith did put up a massive score. He got the multiplier up on the right. Kind of reminds me a bit of Fathom, right?
Yep.
With a spinner in the correct spot instead of the wrong spot. And he blew up the game. He got 1.1 million. Everyone was clapping. Amazing flipper skills on show. Yeah,
Andre
had a decent ball, and Chris overtook Jim. So Keith Allen won. Yeah. And
could you hear on the stream the thunderous roar of the crowd? Not just right at the end, but throughout the finals.
100% not. You could every time something happened, like a really good save, you can kind of hear it in the background, but it was mainly the commentators, and I'm not sure if the commentators were close to the people, but they were pretty subdued. Yeah, they were pretty subdued. It wasn't like Levy in the New York. Did you end up watching that? Holy shit! Like he's just pulling out these awesome one-liners, and it was a bit more subdued. I'm guessing it's because they don't want to disrupt the player who's right next to them.
Yeah, but the reason I bring that up is that I was in the crowd, and it honestly was every great save or great shot or anything that happened that was amazing. It was just such an amazing experience to be there in this crowd where everybody was just right on it with this. And when Keith rolled it, he got a standing ovation.
Yeah,
everyone just stood up and clapped him because as I said in my little mini interview after, it was a masterclass on that game.
I wish they showed that on the stream because you could hear it a little bit in the background, but I guess that's why when you're watching, the football or whatever sport you watch, they show crowd. As much as you hate crowd shots every once in a while, it's because it's not the same when you're watching it on TV. That's why I go to the footy every weekend that I can, because I want to be around that energy. And it would have been amazing to be there, Marty. Who are you sitting next to during the finals?
You know who I was sitting next to. I was sitting next to Mrs. Pin and Dr. Pin.
Yes.
And she was doing a live recording of her podcast while that last game was on. So
I'll get to hear the roar.
Yep. You probably will, but that will be coming up in her next episode. Okay. So from the Mrs. Pin's point of view of her first Pinburg final, that is what you will experience.
That's not fair. I've been into pinball way longer than her, and I'm sitting here in Australia, and she's watching Keith Allen on stage and commentating on it.
It was just the funniest thing.
So is Mrs. Pin genuinely full on into pinball now?
Yes. I mean, you'd say yes in that she'll never obsess about it. But I mean, one thing that we talked about, because I saw a lot of the swag that she made. I think that she sees pinball as a really good vehicle for her to make more craft stuff. I genuinely think that's what it is. So just some of the stuff that she's actually got Mrs. Pin branding on.
Did you get any money?
I did. Let me just grab my Mrs. Pin show bag that she gave me. I've got Mrs. Pin Twizzlers, they're called.
What is a she's explained this, I think, on the podcast, but I've forgotten. What's a Twizzler?
We do have them, but they're called something. They're kind of like raspberry liquor.
Those red things that twirl up. Okay, yes, I know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So it says, so it's got a sticker on it saying, "Putting a new twist on pinball podcast."
She branded the Twizzler.
Yep. Yes. She's also got. There's a little like sanitizing wipe.
Yep.
And on the back it says, "Flipper buttons get around. Practice safe pinball."
Yeah. Hey, how was the smell there this weekend, Marty? Was it all good?
Great. Right. No, it was actually really good.
Okay.
Really good people.
High ceilings. Yeah,
no, it was actually really good. So that's Mrs. Pin. Anyway, there you go. But also what was going on that same day was the Intergalactic tournament as well. This was an interesting one because this was a limited entry best game format. So
wasn't that the next day? This was the same day. This was Sunday.
So qualifying was on that day.
Okay.
And so effectively
400 people or so, Marty. 400 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you had you put $20 in and it gave you 10 games, and your 4 best scores over 4 different games was your score. And then I think what was it? The top 40 got through to the finals.
So did you get to choose your games, or did you just get allocated?
Yes.
Why the fuck did you choose all those old games, Marty?
Because I didn't really care all that much.
Okay.
And I was done. As far as the tournament goes, I was kind of done. I was like, you know what? I've had my Pinburg experience. I don't want this side tournament, which I know is a massive tournament as well. It's the second biggest tournament in the world. I didn't want that to be the experience. I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I ended up in A division, top 100. I was happy with that. So I just kind of, and also what I didn't want to pick was games that I knew everybody would be able to blow up. So I wasn't picking Getaway. I wasn't picking Attack from Mars. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that people knew.
I woke up this morning to kind of check the results, and the funniest thing is when you have these limited entry competitions, there might be 100 people there, and people have, you know, some good games and some bad games, and they might end up with a score of 35 or something. But this is like 400 people, so the scoring goes 100s, you know, like 90, 95, whatever it is, and then you know, sequentially by each number all the way down to 0. There was like over 100 people or something with like 0 as their result because they didn't finish in the top 100 of anything, and that's just so depressing. They came last, but they also got 0 points. Wow, that's hard.
Yep, I honestly don't even know where I ended up, but it would be
you got like 100.
300.
No, you got 100 and something, and you got like 35 points or whatever it was. But yeah, it doesn't matter.
Look, as I said, and because also, you know, that night as well was the really the only tournament that mattered, the only tournament that I was really interested in, and probably the only tournament I'd prepared for.
Okay.
And that was the Trash Talker.
Wait, before we move on to that, the winner of the Intergalactic this morning was Jack Tadman.
Jack Tadman, yep.
Of Canada fame.
Yes.
Of Cabin Fever fame.
Yes, and also the other tournament that was on today was Women's International Pinball Tournament, Whipped.
Yep.
But that was great as well. That when the finals was on, it had so much noise and energy and cheering and crowd going wild. It was also another great spectacle to watch.
Yep, and decent prize money for that as well. I think second got $2,500 and first got an Iron Maiden pinball machine.
Machine.
Yep, and that was won by
Nicole. It is Nicole.
Okay, Nicole Brenner.
Nicole Brenner. Yeah. Or Brenner.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, you know what? She won an Iron Maiden pinball machine, and as I was leaving today, as the whole event was coming to a close, I bumped into her on the way out, and she was just beside herself. She was just so happy that she was the very first woman person to win the Whipped tournament. And it was funny, she going, I can't believe I've won this. Oh my God. And I get an Iron Maiden pinball machine. Like that right there is what you need to do now for the Whipped format to be growing each year. You will get a lot more women next year because that's a new pinball machine right there.
It was sold out, so I mean, like it could have been bigger than it was, but I'm pretty sure it was limited to 80 or however many people. I don't know the number.
Well, open it up because you'll get the numbers easily.
All right, so Trash Talker Invitational money. I mean, we haven't talked about it every single week like other podcasts have been, boasting and talking about how they're going to wipe the floor, and Jeff Tiola saying, oh, I'm not going to enter, it's beneath me, and I am going to enter, and I'm going to rename these people because I can't compete myself. I'm going to get Raymond Davis in the world's #1 player. You know, so, and, you know, I'm going to get Adam Becker and all these, you know, super top players. So, Marty, how did you go? Did you have any last minute issues?
What a loaded question that is. So, look, I did. So, here the criteria really was for my team, you had to be on the show. And if you were Australian and or New Zealand, then there's the double whammy. So I formed my group, and it was David Peck, Rhoda Dave, that's been on the show, and Jimmy Nails, that's been on the show twice. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Jimmy had to pull out at the last minute as a friend of his from in the States was only going to be there for a couple of hours, and it was during the Trash Talker, so he bowed out. So what was a guy to do? To look around and say, right, who else has been on our show that could come on?
That is here in front of me right now.
That is here, standing right in front of me, and is called Carl D'Angelo. So it was really funny because I asked Carl, and Carl's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Ryan, this was the funniest thing. He was like, "Oh, really? I don't know." And I'm like, "Come on!" And he's like, "Oh, really? I don't know." And then I'm like, "Look, honestly, mate, you don't really know. You don't really have to." He's like, "Oh, but I do." It was the opposite of what I was doing. So in the end, I kind of just went, "Look, mate, don't worry about it, man. If you want to, you can, but it's no big deal."
Negative.
He was in.
Yeah.
It was weird. The opposite. It was so freaking funny.
Marty, you used negative reinforcement on his ESP abilities.
I did. It was reverse psychology.
Yeah.
It's what it was.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that was funny. So we ended up, our team was myself, David, and Carl. And how it worked was, it was myself and three other people in a group. Then one of my ringers had their group, and the other ringer had their group. And you played 4 games, match play. The scores for each of the games were coming first was 5 points, then 3, then 2, then 1. And what's meant to happen is, as you're playing your ball, the other people in your group, and I'll stress the other people in your group, are meant to heckle you or do whatever they can to distract you from getting a good score.
Okay.
And here's what happened. And that's probably what would have happened all night, except one thing.
Okay.
And that was, the first game we played was Dialed In, picked by Nick from Buffalo Pinball fame.
Mm-hmm.
So my group was from Nick from Buffalo Pinball, Jeff Teolis from Pinball Profile, and Bruce Nightingale from Slam Till Podcast. My first ball on Dialed In was probably close to $1 million, and went for so long that they walked away.
Okay.
They actually walked away because none of what they were doing was having any effect on me.
You stream and drink. You're used to all the distractions, Marty.
You know what I mean? This is it, right? It's like, guys, do your best, because this is my wheelhouse right here. So I ended up on, I think, 2.2 million. So that game, in fact, right at the end, they said, please just drain the ball so we can move to the next game, because everybody's finished their round. We're still in our first game.
That's great trash talking, guys.
So well done. And that's pretty much what happened. I think the next game I didn't do so well. I can't remember what it was. And then we had, F-14 Tomcat, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And bottom line is, I think I might have had 12 points in my team.
Mm-hmm.
Carl D'Angelo.
Yes.
How many points do you think he got out of a possible 20 points?
15?
20.
Oh, no.
He won every single one of his games.
Nice.
And I think David Pick might have got 11 points, so that's very respectable as well. So then you add up the 3 sheets. Yep. So my 12 points, Dave's 11 points, and Carl's 20 points. And then the top 4 podcasts then get into the finals, and whoever is the podcaster that represents them is in the finals.
Okay. So no... okay, nice. And who are you in there with?
So it was me.
Yeah.
It was Jeff from the Pinball Players podcast.
Yep.
It was Taylor from This Flipping podcast.
He's huge. I would not want to get into an argument with him.
No, he's pretty buff. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we had Nick from Buffalo Pinball.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one thing about this trash talker is it's not meant to be taken seriously. The actual tournament itself.
Yeah.
But the thing to note that I don't know whether they did it last year, but there was also a really good cause as well. So there was also money being raised for a charity of choice. $50 each. Well, not just that. Like I put $50 US in, but so did other people. But other people just started putting more and more money in.
Okay.
So all up, there was $620 US raised.
Nice.
And the winner got to choose a charity that it would go to. And also, Scott from Pin Stadium also donated a set of Pin Stadium lights to go to a pinball charity of choice.
Nice. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thanks to everybody for donating, because $620 US is pretty good. So do you know what? I can't even remember what the games were that we played. There was an EM that I came first. Then we played.
You played that EM twice, I think. I was watching it on the stream. The second time there was just cash all over the glass. Oh, okay.
It was a different game.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
I picked High Roller Casino as my game, just
Why?
to shit everybody. And everyone was like, "Why have you picked this?" I'm like, "Shits and giggles." I came third.
Okay. Backfired.
So basically, I won the first game, came third on the second game, won the third game, and then the final game, I think it was like an EM, and at that stage, they put all the cash over the machine so you couldn't see the flippers.
Yeah.
I absolutely destroyed everyone.
Yes, I saw that. You knew how to time your shots, and then when you didn't know, you were just kind of flipping left, right, left, right, left, right. It was a good strategy.
Yep. It worked well. So I won.
Nice.
I won, and I got a big trash can filled with all the money.
Please tell me you're going to bring that home and put it on your little trophy cabinet.
I can't get. I won't be able to get through customs. There's no way. Okay. But no. So I chose Beyond Blue, which is an Australian charity that assists people with depression and suicide prevention, particularly in men who find it very difficult to express their feelings and do suffer from depression as well.
That's an Aussie trait, right? Keep Aussie men keeping their feelings inside. So it's a great charity. It
is a great charity. So it was actually kind of good that we got to give it to an Australian charity. And my Pin Stadium lights went to Project Pinball.
And I saw
they were stoked.
Yeah, I saw the post by Project Pinball, and they said Martin and Chuck Webster run a podcast. I didn't even bother saying anything. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yep, that's right. I didn't bother correcting them.
Chuck Webster, join in. He can be the new host. Chuck Webster, you bastard. Thanks also to Chuck Webster for organising that. That was
it was such a fun tournament.
He didn't really organise it. He was just the representative of the committee.
He was just one of the committee members. But he did apologise for the other committee members not being able to make it on the night, which was a shame.
So, Marty, massive Pinburg weekend. You won the Trash Talkers Invitational. We are literally the greatest podcast out there. You almost came first out of all the podcasters. Tommy from this podcast just somehow ended up in the A finals and almost made it all the way through. Right? You got to meet all these people. You got to hang out with all the podcasters and everyone. People were taking selfies with you. What was the highlight of your Pinburg weekends?
I know you know this.
Come on, Marty. What was the highlight?
My highlight?
It just sounds so sad. I know it's coming. All right, come on.
It does sound so sad because I told you already.
Yeah.
My highlight was Keith Elwin wearing a Head2Head t-shirt and then calling us out up on stage.
And he said we're also responsible for the win. So we
That's right,
guys. This t-shirt
interview after.
Yeah, this t-shirt has magical powers. I mean, how many other t-shirts did you give out on the weekend? And answer the question: how many people wore the t-shirt during the finals? Just Keith, right? Just say just Keith. That's it. So. That's people say if you appear on this podcast, that's it. If you wear a Head2Head Pinball t-shirt, you will win.
You're going to win Pinburg.
Yep. So we are going to start selling them, and they will be very, very expensive because
correct, because we know the power that they have. So what happens though if everyone in the finals next year is wearing a Head2Head Pinball t-shirt? What actually happens? Is there going to be
we win 7
Twiby
awards?
Next level above the super limited edition?
It'll be some kind of weird draw where they just keep on drawing and drawing and drawing, and they just have to say, "Oh fuck it, you guys all win. Here's the trophy, and here's
right.
Just split the money enough."
It's like, oh shit, you guys are wearing t-shirts, but we can't do the finals. Split the money evenly. You're all done.
That's it. So just letting everyone know. So,
but it honestly, I got to tell you, it honestly was the highlight because I just wasn't expecting it. I like the fact that he loves the t-shirt, the fact that he freaking wore it, the fact that the winning snap of him with a trophy in his hand has got the Head2Head Pinball logo in it.
I was joking to Marty because we purposely made a very kind of like small logo on the front, and on the back it says Drain Monster. This was designed by a local guy here who likes to call himself Paulie Balls. So big shout out to Paulie Balls. Your T-shirt was worn by Keith Alwyn, who won Pinball.
Right?
Yep. So
Absolutely.
I was joking to Marty, like he should have made like a massive logo on the front. With our URL and everything, please listen to the Head2Head Pinball podcast. We need to be validated.
On iTunes, anyway. Stitcher, and Google Play.
Well, did you see what happened after that snapshot got up, Marty? Our Facebook like count went up from...
It's gone bananas.
It's gone bananas. It's gone from 502 to about 506. 4 new likes, Marty. The effect is just... It's just like... It's extrapolating. It's exponential. It's amazing.
It is massive. But look, I will say again, really the highlight of Pinburg, besides that moment just absolutely just made me grin from ear to ear for hours. But besides that, as a whole, what I was really pleased about was such a good vibe on the floor of the tournament. So, oh my God, I forgot to mention really, is just how unbelievably well run this massive freaking tournament is. This tournament had 840 people. Techs were onto things immediately, and if they couldn't fix it, they were swapping out machines. The software didn't miss a beat. The system where if you needed a ruling, you go to the end, you turn on your light. A tournament director would be there within 15 to 20 seconds, running, making a very quick, precise decision, and they would stay there and observe to see if something was still happening again. Then they'd move on, turn the light off. Oh, my God. But seriously, people running Pinburg, you are fucking amazing. I really mean amazing. This... Oh, right. You would have to experience to appreciate how much they've made this into such an amazingly well-running machine. It is just incredible. And
are you going back, Marty?
Everyone has asked me that question.
And
let me tell you this, because someone also asked me a question. They said, "Is this your favorite tournament that you've been to?" And guess what, Ryan?
Yes, it is. No.
It's actually not.
No? Rage Tilts It Rises smashes it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I would actually still say I'm not. And this is not a case of ones and zeros. Just because I don't think it's my favorite doesn't mean that I think it's rubbish. It is the greatest pinball tournament in the world. But for me, I still like Indisc, and I like Indisc because it's probably.
Because it's in California, and it's a better state.
No, I think it's because I think the difference is you've got an expo versus a festival. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's the kind of a different vibe. Which one's
the expo and which one's the festival?
So Pinburg's more the expo. The banning there is more of a festival kind of vibe.
Okay.
I don't know. What I don't love is the stress and the pressure and the win-lose kind of feeling that comes with a tournament. In Disc, for me, it's just a bit more get in there, have your games, have a bit of fun, have a bit of chat, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, do you think maybe it's because you went to Indisc twice, so you knew what to expect, but Pinburg was the first time around, and if you go
possibly, so will I come back again? Oh hell yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. The thing with it is like then there's all this pressure. It's like, do I come back and what if I don't do better? And which is a natural thing that's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So, but
the pressure's on yourself. That's
exactly
self perceived pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, as I said, this tournament, and that's why everyone says, like, Steve Bowden said, the correct answer is Pinburg. And he's right. The best pinball tournament in the world is Pinburg. So I don't know what I'd come back to next year. If I want this, the pressure and the excitement and the adrenaline, then I'll come to Pinburg. If I'm not really up for that, and let's say there's a lot of stress in my life and I don't want that kind of pressure, then I'll come back to Indisc. I don't know.
Even though there's
Or
literally
I'll do
there's,
nothing.
or you go to both of them. You know, we just start charging.
either.
We'll start charging 5 cents per podcast, and because we have so many millions of listeners, that would easily pay for both trips up there, Marty.
That is actually a great idea. Maybe we should do that. We should get what are those things where people can donate? What are they called?
Kickstarters. Patreon.
No.
Patreon. Done.
Maybe we start a Patreon and people can give us money and they can pay for our trips over to Pinburg. And you know what? We'll give you a T-shirt as well.
Yes. That'll be the VIP one if you donate 10 cents instead of 5.
Yeah. But another thing was as well, Ryan, is that before Keith did wear our T-shirt up on stage, a lot of people were asking where they can buy our T-shirts.
Okay. We'll have to organise something. Yeah.
We'll work out what we're going to do. We just did this for a bit of fun and a bit of a thank you to those people that had come on the show. So
we'd have to get somewhere in the US to make them, right? Like we can't make them here and then ship them over there. That would just cost too much.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So we'll figure something out.
You know, we'll work something out.
Oh, Marty, fuck me. That was an hour and 25 minutes or so on Pinburg. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for a 3-day event.
Not bad.
Yeah. So anything else you want to mention about Pinburg before we close it off?
No, just I'm really tired, guys. I've had an absolute blast. Great people, great city. Pittsburgh's a really, really great city.
Did you do anything besides Pinburg? Like, did you go and see any sites? You're still there now, right? You're still there now?
I'm still there now. I'm heading to Chicago in the morning. I'm going to be going to Stern in the morning, so that'll be great.
Isn't that hilarious that you were like, I'm just going to Pinburg on that trip, and that's the only pinball thing I want to do. And we saw during the week that you were at Tilt in Toronto. You did all of Pinburg, and now you're going to go to the Stern Pinball Factory, Marty. You have conned your partner into coming on this trip, saying just one pinball event. Yeah,
I'm probably going to try and head down to Logan Arcade on Wednesday night. Don't say anything. We'll see what happens. So, Stern. That's pretty big. We should delay the podcast by another day so you can talk about everything that's happening at Stern. Not that you probably have to sign a non-disclosure agreement or something, right? I would say I probably have to.
No
do
pictures.
That. I don't
nothing.
know.
Okay.
I don't know. And you know what? I would freaking sign anything if I could see some sneak peeks of some stuff. But who knows? I'm just very grateful that they're going to show me around and I get to see a big factory. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. Yeah, I don't really have a a big week coming up. Hey, I got Meteor today, Marty. I guess I forgot to mention that before.
Yes, you did. I saw a picture of that.
Yep. It's in decent condition. It's not amazing. I mean,
is it better or worse than Quicksilver?
Everything's better than Quicksilver. I mean,
yeah.
Quicksilver's
dog.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I mean, I need your Iron Maiden gone and No Good Gophers gone. When No Good Gophers is going, Marty, I think I'm getting another free pinball machine. So I don't know when this Quicksilver thing is happening where I get it to work, but yeah, I'm going to get another free pinball machine.
Awesome.
That's about the competition. Okay.
Yes.
So if you're still listening, 2.5 hours in, the competition was to guess who was going to be in the Pinball finals. Pretty much everyone chose Keith Allen, and Raymond Davison, Josh and Zach Sharp were also in the top 4 picks, I believe. 2 people chose Jim Balsito, so they both came second. They get 0 prizes because there's no prizes for coming second in this competition. 2 people, I need a ruling on this, Marty, okay? Because 2 people chose Andre Masenkoff, okay? Mm-hmm. One of them was Daniel Luth, the other one was, I think her name is Janine. So they both finished first, equal first, okay? But we kind of had the rule, I mean, I'm not sure how solid the rule was, that when Pinburg starts, the competition is over. Daniel entered the competition way before the competition started. Janine entered the competition about 40 minutes into the first round. So there were no results posted. Do we do a 50-50 or does Daniel win?
Oh, I can't believe you're asking me to do a ruling.
Because, I mean, according to our rules, it should be Daniel, but, you know, no results were posted, so Janine couldn't have known that Andre Masenkoff was was going so well that he would get into the finals 40 minutes into the first round at Pinburg.
Yeah. Okay. I would say let's go 50-50.
Okay, 50-50. So
now
okay,
go to Google.
okay. So Daniel Luth will be number 1,
Yes.
and Janine will be number 2.
Correct.
Okay. Please generate a number between 0 and 2.
Okay. 1.
Ah, phew.
Well, there you go.
I was kind of hoping it would be
go.
2 just in case Daniel would complain. Okay, Daniel Luth.
Daniel Luth, you have won a set of Pin Stadium lights for whatever machine that you've got. I don't know what he's got, but well done, man. And thank you very much again to Scott from Pin Stadium for generously donating, and he will ship to wherever you are.
And guess what?
What's
The Pin Stadium lights were featured in the finals of Pinburg, and you could see all of the machines, Marty. They looked great.
I know.
Hey, was there a controversy? We're still talking about Pinburg here, right? Was there a controversy about turning the lights off at some point during Pinburg?
Yes, there was.
Someone was complaining. I won't say who.
Yep.
Some
I
old
won't
bastards.
say who they were either. Yep. No. So where there was a particular, and what you can remember, these rows of machines, there probably would have been, well, there was 24 machines in the row probably, or even 24 machines in this row that were right underneath a strip of fluorescent lights. So my first round, I was in that row, and you couldn't see the flippers.
Okay.
So a lot of people complained, and they turned the lights off, and then people complained that it was too dark. And their counter argument was, well, you can adjust your height. No, I can't. I'm fucking short. Right?
Okay.
So I don't mind playing in the dark. I actually would have preferred to play in the dark than have those the lights where you couldn't see the flipper. But the problem was turning those lights off affected a big area, not just that one row that was affected by the fluorescent lights.
Okay.
So it had a bigger impact turning them off than leaving them on.
So this is because like the last round is pretty late at night, right? Like the sun's already gone down. Like it's like eight at night or something.
Well, it's an indoor venue, so.
But it's all glass at the top, isn't it? No, I saw some picture of the David Lawrence Centre, and it looked like you didn't look up, did you, Marty?
No, but even when the lights were turned off and it was in the middle of the day, it got quite dark.
Okay.
So it was very noticeable with the lights off, and I guess with older machines like EMs that have got very little GI, that would make an impact. But with the lights on, in this particular row, you could not see, but certainly at my height, I couldn't see the flippers at all. It was very difficult to play. But it affects everybody, so,
Yep.
Except for somebody that's probably really tall, but I don't know.
Or super duper short. Or you should have just got down in the Lyman sheet stands.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. That's it. That's it for another week. The big name interview person that I said we would get had delayed another week, so maybe this week. Marty, when are you coming back? I've asked you this like a million times.
I am back next Wednesday.
Okay, so another full week in the US. So, all right, let's try and coordinate this interview if you're able to do it. If you're not, it'll just be me again.
Absolutely.
If it happens again and not delayed for another week again for the third week in a row, let's see what happens. All right, guys. You can find information about our podcast on head2headpinball.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter. You can subscribe on our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. We're not on Spotify. Hey, someone's on Spotify, and I don't know how the fuck to get on Spotify. We need to figure that out, Marty.
Well, we are all on all those locations, and we're also on Keith Elwin's Facebook page. So
we are on Keith. Our logo is next to Keith Elwin's heart. His giant heart, Marty.
Oh my god, that just is kind of creepy.
Also his titty and his nipple.
Just say it like it is now.
All right, guys. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.